Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If you're new here, maybe you found it for a reason. I'm Melissa. I like to be a fly on the wall. I like to buzz through the blinds of the person on my mind. This is going to be part 5 of, I guess, a 6-part series of tarot readings focused on the people and the day that Marilyn was last here on the earth. Not to toot my own horn, but I think these readings are pretty groovy. The way the cards are lining up, and yeah. So I don't know if you're interested in Marilyn Monroe, whether you are or not. These have been pretty cool, in my opinion, and I'm excited about this one. Well, I'm excited about all of them, to be honest, but this is the one I've been kind of waiting to get to. After this reading will be Marilyn. I'm going to focus on her energy that day, leading up from her waking up in that morning to her leaving the earth, and see what comes out. But right now, we're going to focus on Bobby, Mr. Robert Kennedy, Attorney General of the United States of America at that time. I already did Eunice. I started with Eunice, then I went to Peter, then Pat. Yesterday, the last reading was on the psychiatrist, which I thought was actually really interesting. They've all been pretty interesting, to be honest, and we're going to focus on Bobby. So, here we go. Alright, and this is a general reading for entertainment purposes only. Don't sue me. If you want to support what I do, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when I upload, and you can buy me a coffee if you want to donate, and if you would like a personal reading, check out my about information up here, my description. You can email me. Alright guys, thank you so much. One more shuffle. Alright, let's buzz into Bobby. I want to see Bobby that day. Alright, the first thing I want to see is, show me Marilyn's energy. If you've been watching the other readings, this is how I've been doing it, so hopefully you've watched the other ones, and this all is going to coincide and make sense. Okay, show me Marilyn's energy towards Bobby when Bobby came. Alright, Queen of Cups in reverse. Now, yesterday, this came out at the end of the second part of the Dr. Ralph Greenson reading I did. And when I first touched the card, there was something I felt, but I didn't say it because I was like, I didn't say it. And so I just feel the need to say it. And I don't know why. It's so random. But there was something, I talk about it in the very first video having to do with this. Just some of the details about how she was, some of the details about what may have happened to her body. And there was something to do with an enema. I'm going to leave it at that. If you're interested and you don't know about it, go look it up. But for some reason yesterday, when I first felt it, but I didn't say it, I just felt, so I just felt the need to say that. Not to be weird, but I don't know. So this came out in reverse, representing Marilyn's energy, how she was feeling when Bobby came and they had their encounter. So upright, this card represents a feminine energy that is in the emotions. She's feeling a lot of stuff, usually connected to the heart, okay? Now, and sometimes it represents an energy that been hit in the bottle, that's imbalanced in that way, you know, with other things, but sometimes alcohol specifically. And I'm going to say, every reading I did, I felt like with Pat, with Peter, and maybe even the psychiatrist, she had had a drink. So I'm going to say, this is kind of saying when Bobby came, she was already And the psychiatrist had just been there before Bobby. And if you watched the other day, everything I feel is lining up. She was maybe feeling extra and I also mentioned in my reading, I think for Eunice and for Peter, that she felt more emotions and feelings about Bobby than feelings, okay? Like wanted to be with this guy. Like thought this guy was gonna leave his wife and was gonna make her an honest woman. Kind of feelings. She had a relationship with this person. Like a relationship. Okay. Alright. She also had that at one point with Peter and with Jack Kennedy. Okay? Alright. Now we're with Bobby. Okay. Sorry. Just in case you didn't know. Which you should know if you... Alright. So. Oh, yes. What a... Woo! What a situation, huh? So. I'm gonna say... Because, when, she woke up, she was in devil energy. I said what I felt about that. When Peter came, she was Queen of Swords energy. I said what I felt about that. Pat came, she was in Justice energy. I said what I felt about that. When the psychiatrist came, she was in Nine of Swords energy. I said what I felt about that. And if she had a drink with Peter, had a drink with Pat, had a drink with Ralph, Dr. Ralph, you know, by the time Bobby came, I'm going to say she was feeling the alcohol. And, may have been doing other things as well during the day. I don't know. We'll find out when we do full reading tomorrow or what. So, the alcohol's hitting her. She's feeling emotions. She has emotions about Bobby. And the topsy-turvy. And that's what I feel about that. Okay. Alright, Bobby. Show me, Bobby. What was your conversation? What was your feelings deep down? What were you showing Marilyn as far as your feelings expressing? What were you keeping back? Did you know? Because I feel very strongly about, if you watch the Peter reading, I'm feeling very strongly that Peter was a little bird, that he had a lot. I feel that people came back after Bobby's visit. I'm not sure if it was one person, 2 people, 3 people, maybe more. But there's assumptions, and I said what I felt in the car during Peter's reading and Eunice's reading. Eunice saw something. She heard it. I believe Eunice actually saw and heard what happened to our friend Marilyn. And I said what I felt about it. And, alright, I think Peter was one of the guys that came back. And I think he... So, let's see how much Bobby knew. How Bobby? Are you like Peter? Are you sneaky? Were your feelings true for Marilyn? Could she trust you? Why did you come this day? What did you have to say? Show me. Oh, I'm excited about this. And I shouldn't be so excited, but I am. Okay. Show me. Bobby. Let's see what Bobby was feeling, thinking, saying. What was his plans? Did he know? Was he gonna betray? One card. Get the fuck out of here. You give me more. Okay, it starts off with this. So, I usually say in a relationship reading when I see the 6 of coins, this has to do with the person feeling like they're not getting back what they're giving, or vice versa, or they're not you know what I'm saying? They're not giving what they should. But I felt this had to do, kind of like what I felt connected to the doctor during the second part of his reading, with the cards that came out underneath, that an offer was made. So I'm going to say the first thing I feel is that Bobby came not to express any was very straightforward. We're going to look further. I'm looking deeper. I'm going to look even deeper. But his initial reason for coming and meeting with Marilyn to talk, whatever. So she's all emotional. I'm feeling drunk, like, okay, and emotional. And now he's coming. She might want a touchy. She might want a feely. And he's like, look, I'm here to make you an offer. Because I know what you said to Bobby. To Peter. We know that her house was bugged. And I'm pretty sure whatever was being said and heard, I feel like Peter knew what was being bugged, and I feel like he probably knew already. Everything that was being said, everything she said to Pat, everything she said to her psychiatrist, everything about this red book. Now that I mentioned the red book, now I feel like he came to make her an offer, whatever type of offer that was, whether it had to do with money or whatever, I don't know. Maybe an offer for you to... This Hierophant card. I'm gonna look deeper, but I'm gonna say he might have been... Alright. This is like representing, like, I recognize your reasoning for wanting to do what you want to do, as far as the conference and exposing and whatever. Everything that was in the red book. Everything she wanted to expose, to verbalize, expose to the public, was also written in this red book, this diary. Alright, the devil. This is like, it's like being bound to a person. And also, I said, this came out in some other, the Peter thing, and I said what I felt like him saying, like, look, no one's gonna believe you, you're gonna be vilified, like, what kind of woman sleeps with brothers and the cousin and all this will expose you. Maybe even saying, like, whatever was going on in that beach house, that they had pitches and stuff, pitches, like things that would make, like, however bad she thought she was gonna make everyone else look, it was just gonna, they're all gonna think she's a demon. And like how much the connection means to him, actually, that it takes him to a different level, and that if he could leave his wife and marry her, he would. That's what I felt when I saw this. And I'm gonna say this is like she ain't hearing it, this Five of Wands. Okay, we're gonna leave this here, and we're gonna, because I need to look deeper. Alright, and yeah, this came out in Peter's reading next to the 10 of Swords. And I said what I felt about it, connected to their family, the everything connected to the family, his family, the Kennedy family, and like how, you know, they have a certain reputation, you know what I'm saying? Connected to what I feel and connect with the Pentacle energy overall. And these pentacles here. Okay. So. Alright, show me more. I want to look deeper. So what was the conversation between Bobby and Marilyn that day? If his intentions were this when he came forth. What happened? What happened here? What happened that day? The love is... You pig. So... this came out before another, and I feel like Marilyn at some point did look at Bobby as a possible soulmate person that she was wanting to. He said that he was going to leave his wife for her, okay? Supposedly. Now, I also sometimes say, and I don't always point this out, that in this card, the feminine energy is actually looking away from the masculine and up at the truth. The sun. The truth will be exposed. This might have been him, and I said this before this came out, and whatever, and I said the same thing, that it was her kind of looking away, realizing he's not leaving his wife. You know, this love maybe wasn't what she thought it was. It's also the Lover's card, which is Gemini energy, and she was a Gemini, and it represents sometimes the two sides to that person. Okay, so like this could be her showing Bobby a side of herself that she had, you know, when you love a person, or like, even by default, sometimes we show people what we want them to see of us. I feel that about people in general, but especially when we have affections and certain types of feelings towards another person, sometimes we show them our best selves by default. It's just, you know, human nature to do. She might have been showing him a part of herself that he had not seen before, and looking away from, for the first time, from the masculine energy. Looking up, she's focused on the truth, the sun. And also, now that, like, I feel, you know, all the fire cards in the other readings, when I said, like, oh, this is kind of representing her passion about exposing everything, she was very worried about Jack Kennedy hitting the big red button, making a nuclear war, because he was not going to back down, and da-da-da, and all this. And now that I think about it, when I see the sun, that, you know, kind of makes me think of that too, like, the time, you know. So, alright. Excuse me. Show me more. Show me more. He's very closed off. Alright. So this could represent the finality of the relationship. Her maybe expressing, and him acknowledging that she's not being stupid. She wasn't stupid, like, her reputation, and especially the way, if things had hit the fan, if this didn't happen this night, and she had done the conference, I guarantee people would have hated her. We all would have, that's how the public is. Think of Monica Lewinsky, think of, like, all these, anyway, I think it was her not caring what anyone was going to think about her, recognizing the finality of this connection, recognizing him expressing the finality of what this would do to their relationship if she went forth. And I'm going to, like, kind of leave it there, because that was there. I'm tempted to pull these out, but they didn't fall out. So, like, keep going. I want to say that this conversation was even, like, they were, like, whispering, like, talking low. And I don't know that for sure. And I'm almost tempted now to Google if, like, anything that was caught on the tapped, when they were being tapped, because the place was tapped. But I don't know, like, sometimes if things weren't picked up, so, like, because I don't have any, I mentioned the documentary that I had just watched, that I have it written down, but it's not in front of me right now, but it's up here, and I mentioned it in the first episode, that the first part of the readings that I do of this, and they kept mentioning, you know, the taps, and they had a guy who was like, this and this was said, certain things, that, you know, but they didn't play anything, so I don't know, was it destroyed, supposedly? I don't, I wish we could hear them, because I wish I could know. So, yeah, I feel like everything was being whispered, talking low. I feel like this, like, Peter was, like, aggressive and loud, I feel like. And everyone else spoke normally, in a normal tone. But I feel like with Bobby, everything was soft. Like, the talking was soft. Alright. Show me more. Alright. Before I say what I feel for that. Okay. So this came out in Peter's reading after a King of Swords came out. And I said in Peter's reading, I felt like what I felt from their encounter, and how when it got to that point, that card, the King of Swords, came, I was like, Peter got quiet, almost scary quiet. Like, he knew he was going to have to make a call. Like, a choice was now made, but he was quiet about it and kept it within. And that the patient, this is Temperance, and she's on the side, and I just said how I felt like, because she was next to the sword card in that Peter's reading, that it represented how he went quiet, scary quiet, patience, now patience. And I felt like in Peter's reading, it kind of was like the patience of knowing we're going to have to come back and take care of this woman. And I said it like that because I don't know. Alright, usually I say Marilyn. But I guess, you know, at that point, he, like, shut off. Because the Three of Wands is my person that makes the choice. There's no more dilly-dally. Like, Two of Wands is, like, deciding what path one is going to take for me. But, like, Three of Wands is that person is making the choice of the path they're going down. The Five of Pentacle, that's, like, the person that... And I got this in Eunice's reading. I mean, alright, so it's the person that, this might be, since I said that, this could be where, like, he knows, because I felt like Eunice was paid off something and told to leave, because she left the country the next day. And I'm feeling like this, maybe this is what Eunice saw, because I felt like Eunice heard and peeked in on something. Maybe Eunice... Well, first I felt that this is where, like, an understanding that Eunice was going to be paid off. Or he had to do with that part of it. I don't know. I just felt it, so it must be a reason why. But, seeing it, hearing something... But also, this card in itself represents, for me, a door being closed on us, feeling left in the cold, financially burdened, sometimes physically, sometimes affected, shut out though, left in the cold. And the Ten of Cups is all about the family, and this came out before, and I said what I felt about it, having to do with, I feel like he was worried about his family, stuff being exposed, like, in general, for all the Kennedys, all the men of the Kennedys, how it would show they weren't family men if she went forth with exposing the things she wanted to expose, which was everything, everyone. Alright, so this also came out in, I feel like maybe Pat's reading, the psychiatrist, I don't know about Peter, but this is the person looking, they're blindfolding themselves, closing their heart off, and they're looking at things very black and white, not recognizing the gray area. So I'm going to say this is how, for Bobby. Now, Bobby is like, alright, I'm looking at things black and white about her. Escape, escape. This is the Knight of Swords. You know, this could represent, because usually I stay away from saying this. Like, there's some, because readers used to say this all the time about the Knight, and I used to get irritated because they would always be like, the Knight of Swords. It could represent the person's a narcissist, and I don't like doing that because there's, like, different types of narcissism, like 6 or so types, or maybe more, and it's a mental illness, it's, you know, but this could, this represents, an energy that's in and out, with their information, with their energy, their back and forth. So this could represent how, in general, maybe she was expressing to him, you've never really been there for me, you've always been in and out, and you always held information back, you've been flighty, you promised me stability, you know, you were going to make me an honest woman. You know, the stability. This is the same foundation. To me it is. The ground it stands on. And this also, like him, like I have to protect my life. The Kennedys. Our reputation. The prosperity. The inheritance. This, you know, everything this card represents overall. And this could be, they have a drink. Devil. They could have actually, they could have had relations. This could represent the overpouring of emotions, that she actually really loved this person. Maybe he actually really loved her in his own way, I felt. And that there was a side of him that was toxic, that he, you know, didn't share with his wife. another side of him. Just like she had another side of her. And they felt like they could have that, they could be that together. They could be that types of themselves they could only share with one another. That's what I felt. And that, I mean, this card in general represents, it's the Devil card, Capricorn energy. It represents material things overall, you know, like, you know, the things that bind us to the earth, you know. Oh, being that I said it that way, it could be that he recognized or knew this would be the death of the relationship of him, of maybe of her. Now, I did a pre-shuffle kind of thing, and the only card that came out was the Ten of Swords, which made me directly think of Peter, because one of the last cards that came out in Peter's reading, it was next to the Ace of Pentacles, was the Ten of Swords, and immediately made me visualize her body, how she was found, just the position of it, because that card, it's on the belly, it's messed up. Now, I didn't see that here. I don't know if at this point he knew for sure what was going to be happening that night. Okay? With Peter, I really felt like he knew he was going to be back later that night. But I don't see him feel that here, which I thought I would, but I didn't. So, but I think he knew, you know, this would be the end. And, but I don't think he knew it was going to be later that night. Maybe he thought it was going to be that Monday. And that just popped in my head, so I said it. Alright? And, yeah, alright, so that's what I feel happened when her and Bobby had their little encounter. And I'm going to say it wasn't super long time. I think the encounter with Peter was longer, and the psychiatrist. Oh, no, later in the night. That reading was longer than the earlier meeting in the day. That was kind of more straightforward. Yeah, I think most of these meetings, except for Peter's, were pretty straightforward and weren't like hours and hours, you know what I mean? They came, the drink, off. Alright. Yeah, that's what I feel. Alright, guys. So the next reading is going to be focused on Marilyn. And let's see what happens. Thanks for being here. See you guys next time.